I've had the Sony FX6 for over 1.5 years now, and in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think of it. So this isn't going to be a video on all the technical specifications of this camera. I've done several videos on the FX6. I'll link them up there somewhere so you guys can check those out. I've done a bunch, so if you want to have a look at other FX6 videos, make sure you check those out. So as most of you know, I own a video production company here in Australia, and this is our main workhorse. This is our main camera. We do have the Red Scarlet 5K and also a couple of A7S IIIs in our kit, but this baby right here is the weapon of choice for most jobs. Now, I've done a couple of videos in the past where this has been rigged out and then I've stripped it back down. And I love this camera in both of those settings. Personally, I would really like to have this camera absolutely stripped down, the bare bones, the basics, but that doesn't impress clients, unfortunately. And we have smaller rigs like the A7S III to chuck on gimbals and do those smaller jobs. But the FX6 is there to be rigged out and to impress clients, and it's also very functional. So as you can see, we've got this rigged out at the moment, and this is how it's kind of stayed for the last 6 months. I know the last video I did, I had it all stripped down and I said how much I love that, and I do, and I wish I could kind of keep it in that form. But this is how you impress clients, and it's sad, but that's what they want to see. They want to see a schmick camera. Wow, like wow, look at that camera. And it justifies the spend to the client. This camera can do pretty much exactly the same job when it's stripped down, but when it's beefed out like this, clients love it and they feel important and they feel like they're getting a better product, but whatever. So how it's rigged out at the moment, you can probably see it's got the viewfinder on there, a couple of monitors. The big 7-inch monitor is awesome in, you know, bright locations, just visibility to be able to see a big image when you don't have an external monitor. We are still running the small Sony monitor on here just for peaking and those, you know, touch features that you can't get with an external monitor. We have the Shape extendable arm with the handle. This is, you know, we can use this as a shoulder rig if we want to as well. It's just ready to go for all situations. We're still running the V-lock adapter at the back. Haven't had any issues. This is the tilter one. It's really clean, really nice looking. And we're still running the Sennheiser mic system. And I really want to just switch back to the Rode because it's smaller, it's lightweight. This is just clunky and it gets in the way, so we're going to see how we can kind of implement that in the future. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about how this camera functions, you know, on a personal level, how it is to use, how the images are, how the workflow goes, you know, the file sizes, all that kind of thing. And that's why I love this camera. So it is a very versatile camera. Like I said, you can strip this down or you can rig it out. So it can be quite small and compact, and it can be a big beast. Now, one of the main reasons why I absolutely love this camera is the image quality that comes out of it. So from the start, we've always used the Sony CF Express Type A cards, and I think this is a big deal breaker when you use these. Yes, they're very expensive, but they also give you the capability to get the most out of this camera. Now, file sizes are pretty big on this thing if you're shooting, you know, all-eye, 4K, 120, all that kind of thing. They are big file sizes, but being a professional video production company, our clients demand the best quality, so we have, you know, servers and hard drives upon hard drives that we can back this footage up onto. If you're just a solo operator and run and gun and doing this for YouTube, this is overkill and you don't need to be shooting in that high bit rate. That's just, it's too much. But if you're a professional video production company and want the best quality ever, then those cards are amazing, and the codecs and all the bit rates and everything that you can get out of this camera is just schmick. What I also love about the FX6 is it pairs so well with the Sony A7S III, which we use a fair bit as a B camera and also sometimes as an A camera. So the FX6 is a game changer camera, and I hate using that word, but this is a broadcast camera that's being used widely here in Australia as a broadcast camera, as a professional camera by TV stations, and during the footy and all these different kind of scenarios. This camera is being run on gimbals, on steady cams, live OB broadcasts. There is just no end to what this camera can do, and in the professional field, this camera has a lot of respect. So after 12 months, am I happy with this camera? Yes, we all know the answer to that. This has been an absolute beautiful camera to use. It's easy to use, it's simple to use. The colors that come out of it are just amazing. The quality, I've never had any issues with it turning off, overheating, no card issues, touch wood. So yeah, this camera is staying in my kit for a very long time. So why do I love the FX6 so much? Well, it's reliable. That is the main thing. Whenever I turn this thing on, I know it's gonna work. It has never let me down. One of the most amazing things about this camera is the variable ND. It's just so handy to have like a little dial here that you can just dial in the exact exposure that you want. You set your frame rate, your shutter and your aperture, and then you just dial this in to whatever you like. It's something so simple, but it's just absolutely amazing to have that feature on this camera. Another thing that's really good about this camera, and it's basic, it's got 2 XLR inputs. But what I also love about it is you've got all the dials here physically on the camera. You've got, little knobs for your volume. You've got auto to manual control. You've got everything at your fingertips, which is just so nice to have in a professional setting. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, surely it's not the perfect camera. Surely there's something wrong with it. And if I had to get really picky, yes, there is something wrong with this camera. Where the power button is absolutely stupid. It's right near the headphone input. That's, and that's probably it. I could do with a few more SDI ports at the back there, but to be honest, you have to weigh up the cost, the price, and what you're getting for that cost, and I think this is a very, very well-placed camera in the market. Now, one downside to this camera that a lot of people have complained about is the XLRs being on the top handle. I don't really see this as a big issue for me and how I work, because the top handle stays on the camera all the time. But if you're someone who's going to strip this down and use this on a gimbal, then I could see that this would be pretty frustrating to not have the XLRs on the actual body itself. But for me, I just don't see this as much of an issue, because normally when it comes to gimbal work, I'm running the A7S III on a gimbal anyway. Another thing about this camera, I don't necessarily think you would call it a negative, but it's just a thing that I guess comes with professional cameras, is this doesn't have IBIS. Now, coming from using the A7S III a lot, I'm kind of used to having that compensation where if I've got a bit of a shake happening, the A7S III is going to save me on that and make my footage look good. When it comes to the FX6, that's not going to happen. It's all you. If you want that, that crazy handheld movement, this is going to be awesome, but it's not going to give you that nice, stabilized footage look. Now, some people will love that, some people will hate that. I think it's really good not to have IBIS in here, because if you're wanting a really natural handheld look, you can't get that with stabilization. And it's something that you learn over time as a camera operator and a cinematographer on how to make that handheld footage look desirable and tell a story through how you're operating the camera. So I think it's really important not to have IBIS in something like this. You can, get that effect with the A7S III if you want to. Some people don't like it, but I think it's, part of the process of becoming a better filmmaker. Now, like always, guys, this is just my opinion, my experience from using this camera for the last, year and a half, alongside the Sony A7S III. I've used Canons before, I've used Reds before, so I have a bit of experience with different camera systems, and I have to say that this camera is, it's like a, what do you call it? It's like a unicorn almost, for me anyway. It's just kind of the perfect camera that I can grab and I know is going to be reliable, and it's just going to do its job day in, day out. And that's it for this video, guys. If you did like the video, as always, please like, subscribe, comment down below. We're trying to grow the channel, so please do those 3 things. And I will see you in the next one.